So the new Amex Platinum and Business Platinum upgraded cards are out, and I am not sad about them, I will say. Um, I will say it's sticker shock for sure. Their annual fee is now going to be $895. They definitely took the opportunity that all the other elite card premium cards were taking this year in terms of jacking up their fees, so they couldn't miss out on that opportunity. And they were always sort of the highest annual fee card, so it didn't really come as a huge surprise that they upped their annual fee, and they did it $100 more than the Chase Sapphire Reserve did. So Chase Sapphire Reserve is now $795, and the Amex Platinum and Business Platinum are now $895. That's a $200 jump. So the Platinums used to be $695. So it definitely sounds like a lot of money at first. The reason I was excited was more about the credits they're giving. Amex is sort of known for their coupon book type credits, that if you are diligent and use them, you can really sort of make up for that annual fee. But they definitely make you work for it because a lot of their credits are given either twice a year or quarterly. So the previous for that, I'll talk about the platinum, the personal platinum card, because that's the one I'm more excited about. That's actually not one that I currently hold, but one that I might think about holding now. I do have a couple business platinums, and I'll talk about that later because that is a card that's more used on a what they call churn and burn basis. But the personal platinum is not one that you're going to necessarily do that with. So it is not one that I've held, mostly because it doesn't have great multipliers. So it's not really great for like an everyday spend card. So the reason I get the business platinums is because they have really big sign-up bonuses. So I'll get the sign-up bonus and then I'll cancel it, and then I'll wait for a mailer to come in that has a no lifetime language on it, and then I'll get another one. So again, I'll talk about the details on that later, but for the personal platinum card, you can't really do that. They're not known to give a lot of mailers for that, as far as I know. It also takes up a Chase 524 spot since it's a personal card. So I'm not usually looking to do that. Their sign-up bonuses usually aren't as good as the business one. And again, again, it's not a great everyday card. And if I were to get this card, it's probably one that I would keep. So I'd really want to make sure that I was going to be able to get good use out of it. The previous credits that existed were decent. So you got like a $200 airline incidental credit that you could use towards your chosen airlines, which you could get creative. And there's tricks with United and Southwest that you can actually use them for United or Southwest credit that gave you a credit towards, it was like a $50 twice a year Saks Fifth Avenue credit. You also got $25 or $15 a month for Uber or Uber Eats. And then you got a $200 a year Fine Hotels and Resorts credit. So it was decent. Not really something I thought I would use a lot of. Now though, they have upped their game a lot in the credits. And I do think they were trying to compete with the new Chase Sapphire Reserve, and I think they definitely won out in that game. So the new credits on top of the credits that already existed, so those still remain, are a $400 per year Resi dining credit that is split up by quarter, so $100 per quarter. That's super easy to use. I've already used it on the Amex Gold. You can look on Resi, find a local restaurant, just use your card and spend it there, and the credit will come off. And there are a lot of restaurants, I found a lot of restaurants available through Resi. A $300 per year Lululemon credit, which is $75 per quarter. Again, I think that's pretty useful for a lot of women out there, maybe men too, but they give you now an Uber One membership, well, $120 towards that. An Aura Ring credit of $200 per year. I've never used one, but maybe I would try it. They still have the Fine Hotels and Resorts credit, but they've increased it. It was $200 per year. Now it's $300 twice a year. And the nice thing about it is you only have to book one night to get that credit. Unlike the edit credit that you get through Chase Sapphire Reserve, you have to book 2 nights to get their credit. So this is a better credit, I think, when it comes to hotel credits. And in addition, the Fine Hotels and Resorts collection is much more broad than the edit collection that you can get through Chase. So also another great credit. And one I didn't mention before, sorry, that already existed and still exists is the $209 clear credit per year. That is something I've gotten very used to using on the Business Platinum side, and is one that I'm hesitant to give up if I were to give up all my Business Platinum cards. So if you add all those numbers up, definitely exceeds $900 a year. So is why I'm kind of thinking that this card could be in my future. The benefits of holding onto this card, again, not so much for the everyday spend, but you do get Hilton Gold status, Marriott Gold status, a lot of rental car status, and some trip insurance if you were to use the card to cover the trip. So some like baggage incidentals, trip cancellation, car rental insurance, that kind of stuff. But the other cool thing is even if you don't use it, they do have this hotline if you need some sort of emergency evacuation that is covered no matter what. It also has some cell phone protection or insurance. So I actually use the Platinum business card as our insurance for our cell phones. You do have to use it to pay for the cell phone each month to have that insurance kick in. And on that note, it actually gives you credits each month towards digital entertainment. So that already existed before, but they have now expanded what that digital entertainment includes. So actually, I was happy to see that it includes Hulu Plus. So that's something we use as our cable service. And it's like $25 a month. So it's a pretty significant amount that I would use. Now, I guess that would sort of be difficult to decide what I would use it for, because if I wasn't using it for the cell phone, then I wouldn't have that cell phone insurance. But again, all in all, a lot of really cool credits. And then obviously the big reason that people have this card is for the Centurion Lounge access. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting this card just for that if you are not just a single traveler, because you can't bring guests into the lounge. So for families or couples, you each need your own card to be able to get into the lounge. And those lounges can get crowded as well. So you don't want to necessarily rely on this to get you into those lounges, but it's a nice perk. So definitely a card I'm thinking about. I'm definitely going to think first about my 524 status, make sure I have all the cards I want to get potentially before this card. And then the last thing I'll mention is this is not a card you want to get before you get the Amex Gold card, because Amex has a family rule, and you cannot get the sign-up bonus for one card if you don't have sort of the lower tier cards. So the tiers are Amex Green, Amex Gold, and Amex Platinum. So if you were to get the Amex Platinum first, you would not qualify for the Amex Green or Gold sign-up bonuses if you were ever to get those cards in the future. That being said, the green card, not the best card. Not a lot of people have that one. Not one I'm worried about. The gold card is a great card, is a great everyday spend card with 4 times dining and groceries. So I would not pass up that card, and I would get that first and then maybe move on to the platinum. I don't think this current sign-up bonus is probably going anywhere. I might be wrong. It's currently 175,000 points. I would not get a lower amount of sign-up bonus for this card because, again, Amex has a lifetime rule on all those cards. So technically you can only get one card per lifetime. Truly, that means usually every 7 years. You can't get the card for more than every 7 years. The caveat to that is if you get a mailer, something in the mail that has no lifetime language, then you can sign up for that. And that's how a lot of people get a lot of Amex cards and a lot of Amex points. So the Amex Business Platinum has also been refreshed. It's much less exciting, unfortunately. It has all the same credits it had before. The thing that it did add, which is somewhat exciting, is the same $300 twice a year Fine Hotels and Resorts credit that the personal card has. So that definitely helps offset that annual fee of $895. If it's something you think you'll use, great. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm kind of hesitant to see if I'll be able to use it. And that probably will kind of help decide whether it's something I keep. Now, about that sort of churning and burning thing with the Amex Business Platinums. Again, it's easier to do with these cards because they don't take up a 524 spot. Also doesn't have the same family rules that the personal side does. So you can have the Amex Business Platinum and still qualify for the Amex Business Gold sign-up bonus. And Amex tends to send a lot more mailers to people for this card that has no lifetime language. So I've been lucky enough to get those mailers. So I regularly sort of have at least 2 of these cards in my name or in my husband's name. And that's how I've been able to keep a good stash of Amex membership rewards points. I have a good stash now, so my plan, even before this annual fee had been jacked up, was to kind of cancel a lot of these cards. So I will probably do that. And then I'll have to decide in the future whether I keep this churn and burn strategy, given how this annual fee is a lot higher and it's becoming a lot more expensive to do this. So that remains to be seen, but I do think it is a good strategy if you can get a lot of points. And by a lot of points, I mean that you can find some offers of anywhere from like 200, 250. I even saw one of her 300,000 membership rewards points. It's a lot of spend for like $20,000 spend in 3 months. So I think for the first year, you can definitely justify the annual fee, but then after that, a lot of people won't cancel it because it's so expensive and again, not so much an everyday card.